Well, how do? This is Kenny Perdue with Perdue Homestead Farm. I want to talk to you a little bit today about agricultural history here in Missouri, specifically two staple crops that were grown here and really help form our history. And I think it's so important that we understand history so that we can learn from it and become wiser and better civilization. So our state of Missouri is now 200 years old as of this year. So we were founded in 1821. Part of our history, as well as our national history, really ties back to two products that have become pariahs of society. One of those is hemp, cannabis sativa is the scientific name, and the other one is tobacco. We have seen a huge migration from that over the years, that they're not good for you, and indeed science does support that. But there's also some benefits to it, and we're going to talk a little bit about those today. So hemp is not native to North America. It was started being cultivated over in the Far East and the eastern part of the Middle East back around 4000 BC. And people were using it for all sorts of things, for the inebriation of it, but primarily to make ropes and fabrics and things like that. Tobacco is native to the Americas. It was started being cultivated about 5500 BC, down towards Guatemala, this Central America part of things. But then it comes to the United States, and so hemp came across the waters as part of the waters because they were using it for ropes on the ships. And it started being cultivated here in the United States. And then we had tobacco, which they don't teach you in school, but in October 1492, Christopher Columbus had his first smoke of pipe tobacco. And so I think that's an important part of our history. And that tobacco became part of our trade culture going overseas. So let's speed ahead a couple hundred years to Missouri. And so Missouri was just getting settled in 1821. And one of the things that we had was people moving from the east out here to the western part of the United States and growing crops, because a lot of the soils back east were getting depleted of their nutrients and minerals. So they moved out here, they started growing hemp, and by 1847, Missouri was the second hemp producer in the United States, right behind Kentucky. I don't remember what the volume of hemp being produced was, but it was a large volume. And so understanding those dynamics, and also circa that time period that it was when slavery was abounding here in the United States, specifically in a state like Missouri. That was a big part of how they produced and cultivated hemp and harvested hemp was through slavery. And then at the end of the Civil War, as slavery got abolished, and we started realizing the tragedies that we had created with slavery, we moved over to tobacco. And so this area, with slavery going out of existence, being abolished, we really moved into an area of growing tobaccos. And your Platte counties, your Clay County, your Clinton County, and your Buchanan counties were some of the top producers, other than some areas along the river. But we also did a lot of the exports of tobacco through this area as well. So understanding the dynamics of that is important, because we started seeing that slavery was bad, and that using people for labor was bad. And so we migrated to something from an agricultural standpoint that we thought was good and beneficial, and at the time it was. And then started realizing the concerns with tobacco, right? And then that became a panacea of society, and we put that on the back burner. And so today, it's important to understand the history of it. We have Native American history with tobacco. We've got regional history with it. We grow the burley tobaccos over in the Platte County area still, and have that in the western area. And so today we have pipes, as you can see here, as well as cigars and pipe tobacco. that can be utilized both for the hemp flower as well as for tobacco. As you can see, they're rather ornate and elaborate. They were locally made by a craftsman, and some of them are ceremonial pipes, and we didn't even talk about the ceremonial side of things. But this allows you to understand the history of it, occasionally partake in pipe tobacco as part of history. We encourage you not to use it on a regular basis, but again, that is your choice. But really understanding what the history looks like behind tobaccos and the hemp. So we're seeing the tragedy that tobacco can cause, but we're also seeing the benefits that hemp has and CBDs. And so we've got a new store opening up next door to us. It's going to be called CBD Greenleaf. They'll be open by this time next week, so I'd encourage you to come in and talk to them. They're going to have flour, they're going to have some extracts, and some very beneficial hemp/CBD products that could really help us out. So I think it's important that we understand the history behind it, understand the benefits to it, understand the potential risk, and then understand how can we incorporate that into our society, into our community, and into our lives, and help benefit all of us. So for more information, I'd encourage you to continue watching my YouTube channel. In the meantime, have a great, wonderful day and an even better weekend.